Stephen A. Smith just dropped a bomb saying Donald Trump could blow up the WNBA. And somehow it all comes back to Caitlin Clark. This isn't just about basketball. This is political, it's cultural, and it might even turn into something way bigger than the league ever imagined. Let's break it all down.
Caitlin Clark has done for the women's NBA what Michael Jordan once did for the NBA. Made it more valuable, watchable, and marketable. Instead of protecting its transformative star, the league's leadership ignores the relentless targeting of Ms. Clark, treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache.
The conversation around Caitlin Clark took a sharp turn after the Wall Street Journal dropped an opinion piece accusing the WNBA of fostering what it called a hostile workplace for the league's most talked about rookie. At the center of the claim, a pattern. Refs consistently swallowing the whistle when Clark takes contact, letting plays slide that, for almost anyone else, would draw an immediate foul. And this isn't just about one bad night or a single grudge match. It's been a slow burn from the moment she stepped onto the court in her rookie season.
Muscling away.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Oh, and Marina Mabry's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabry is going to get ejected.
Well, they're going to go and look at it. Look at Mabry.
One incident in June threw gasoline on the fire. It was a regular season game against the Connecticut Sun that spiraled into chaos. First, guard J.C. Sheldon caught Clark in the eye. Not a glancing tap, but a direct poke that left her visibly shaken. Then came the bump from Marina Mabry, shoulder to shoulder, the kind that knocks you off balance.
Golson had it knocked away. Good hands by Allen. And Sheldon comes up with the steal. Sheldon going coast to coast. And here's we got another breakers here as J.C. Sheldon goes right after Sophie Cunningham. It was a hard foul, no question.
I'm blaming this all on the officials tonight.
And before the dust could settle, Sophie Cunningham delivered a hard foul in retaliation that lit the fuse. In seconds, it wasn't just basketball, it was a full-on brawl. Players had to be separated, tempers flared, and the officials tossed Cunningham out. Social media erupted with slow-motion clips, freeze frames, and arguments over whether the refs had been protecting Clark or hanging her out to dry.
The players were making a case of what they deserve and what they earn, and right around the time that happens, now you got the Justice Department and the Trump administration being egged on to pay attention to this issue so it will get addressed. And when you have
Clark herself hasn't called for any investigation. She's stayed mostly silent, at least publicly, but the uproar isn't just coming from her camp. Angel Reese has complained about inconsistent officiating. Natasha Cloud has voiced similar frustrations. The picture that's forming isn't about one player getting targeted. It's about an entire league where the rules seem to shift depending on who's holding the ball.
Ms. Clark's targeting may reflect a culture of disparate treatment, and the evidence provides reasonable cause for a federal probe into potential civil rights violations. Am I making it up now? Remember I said this months ago. Remember I talked about people being jealous. The Cheryl Swoops of the world and others. Remember I pointed that stuff out?
Stephen Smith didn't hold back when he reacted to the Wall Street Journal's explosive claim on his podcast. Without hesitation, he said, "They have a case. They have an argument." What he meant was simple, but heavy. There could actually be a serious government investigation into the WNBA's treatment of Caitlin Clark. This isn't just some rumor or locker room chatter. Stephen made it clear this could escalate into a full-blown legal and political battle.
Now, before you go any further, I'm not here saying that the case could be will be won by the government if it got to that point or anything like that. I'm saying they have a case. They have an argument. And do we doubt that at his discretion, at his disposal, if he finds this to be an issue that's politically expedient for him, that Trump won't use this to feed his base?
But here's where it really got interesting. Steven brought Donald Trump into the mix. He pointed out that if this issue turns out to be politically useful, Trump wouldn't hesitate to jump in and make it a rallying cry for his base. For Steven, this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about how a sports league's internal problems can explode into a national, even federal issue, especially when civil rights are part of the conversation.
The Trump administration has shown it's willing to demand change, proposing federal standards barring men from women's NCAA athletics, issuing sweeping Title VI warnings to more than 60 schools, and launching a Justice Department anti-Semitism task force. Senator Jim Banks' 2024 letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert demanded answers.
Now, to back up his point, Steven cited a powerful example from outside the sports world: Columbia University's massive $221 million settlement over civil rights violations. That wasn't just a slap on the wrist. It showed the federal government can get heavily involved when they see a legitimate case of systemic mistreatment. Steven used this precedent to warn the WNBA, ignore this issue at your own risk, because once it reaches that level, the league could face consequences far bigger than fines or bad PR.
The way, when she was out for the All-Star weekend this year, because she was hurt, by the way, because of the roughhouse tactics all of those folks alluded to, the ratings dropped 36%. They still had over 2 million views, but they had over 3 million last year. It dropped because she wasn't playing. Now, I told y'all.
Let's connect the dots here. Caitlin Clark's rise isn't just a feel-good story, it's a ratings juggernaut. When she's on the court, the numbers spike. More viewers, more attention, and more pressure. But with all that spotlight comes a downside. The physical play against her gets noticeably tougher. It's like the more the league shines a light on her, the more opponents push back, sometimes crossing the line.
Clark, hammer. 3 Sky players coming over. Now the official is pointing to his head here, and I think they're going to look at this.
Now, you'd expect the league and referees to step in, right? To protect their biggest star and keep the game clean. That's the problem. The WNBA and the officials have been slow to react. Time and again, plays that look like clear fouls on Clark go uncalled. This silence creates a perception, one that fans and analysts are picking up on, that the league might be turning a blind eye, or worse, showing bias. It's bad for the game's image, and it's fueling frustration.
Well, in this instance, the latest evasive measure that appears to be on the verge of coming into play is the president using treatment towards this golden goose, a spectacular talent that is one of the preeminent futures, if not the future face of the WNBA, if she isn't considered that already.
Steven Smith put it bluntly. He said the WNBA needs to start using last 2-minute reports like the NBA does. These reports publicly review referee calls in close games, shining a light on officiating decisions to ensure transparency. It's a way to protect the league's credibility and show fans they're serious about fairness. And if Donald Trump steps in and publicly supports Clark, the whole thing will explode beyond sports. Suddenly, the WNBA becomes a political lightning rod, and the league will have to deal with national, even federal scrutiny. That's a storm no one wants, and one the WNBA better prepare for.
More's coming, y'all. Caitlin Clark gonna make national news. Caitlin Clark is going to be politicized. It's coming. I can smell it. And you see how big my nose is. I can smell it.
If this story goes political, it stops being about missed calls or rough plays. It turns into a fight over civil rights, media control, and the culture wars heating up. Imagine the pressure the WNBA is under when you mix Donald Trump's base. Who would gladly back Caitlin Clark as a symbol, with Clark's massive popularity? It's a perfect storm the league is simply not ready for.
Yeah, I think we fought really hard. It's tough when you talk to officials and I asked them, hey, we only shot 2 free throws. We've only been to the free throw line twice up into the 4th quarter, and she tells me it's not her job. So I know it's frustrating because I know how hard we were battling inside, and I think that we came down and fought as hard as we could.
Inside the league, tensions are already bubbling over. Players like Angel Reese and Natasha Cloud have spoken out loudly about how refs are handling games, adding fuel to the fire. The WNBA's culture feels fragile right now. How the league manages this crisis could impact everything, from the upcoming collective bargaining agreement talks to player-coach relationships to how the public trusts the league moving forward.
You think he won't use it? You think the president won't use this as advantage? I got a better question. You think it won't work? White America still makes up 57% of the population.
And then comes Steven's warning. No sugarcoating, no fluff. WNBA, you've been forewarned. You gotta address this. Those words aren't just advice, they're a clear message. If the league doesn't step up and fix this mess, the story will be written by others, the referees, the media, and now politicians. And make no mistake, this could blow up into the most politically charged sports controversy since Colin Kaepernick sparked a nationwide debate. The WNBA is at a crossroads. The choices they make in the next few weeks could define the league's future and maybe change sports and culture in ways no one saw coming. Steven might be the only one saying what everyone's thinking. What do you think? Sound off in the comments. Because if Trump steps in, this whole thing explodes, and not how the WNBA wants. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all the latest updates.